Hold on, hold on.
Bonsai Drill.
Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. For this episode I'm back in Los Angeles and I'm gonna work on this beautiful California juniper from my friend Hank. As you can see, this tree is very powerful, has a lot of character in the lower part of the trunk, a very big and thick live line. Probably some part of this live line are not active, so one of the first thing I'm gonna do is going to discover which part of this live line I can reselect, and after that I will clean the foliage and start looking for the main structure that I'm gonna build. Probably the project will be to squish all the tree down and make something very compact, because all the interest is in the lower part of the trunk with this beautiful wave, the old Deadwood and the live line. There are some long branches that probably were cut when the tree was collected, and I'm gonna gin them out, cleaning the bark, and probably I'm gonna reduce them as much as I can, because I wanna get the shape of this tree very compact to highlight the beautiful base and the strong base of this tree. Let's go. Let's have a quick look to the back part of the tree, or better, what I consider the back part of the tree. So, most of the time, California juniper grow like a big clump. So, they start as a multi-trunk, and along the time, some of the trunk, they just split by themselves, some of them die, and some other just run over. So, you can see how many of these long branches, or actually trunks, were cut when the tree was collected. This is what will be the back of my tree. I have too much going on here, and the main movement is the other side that I'm gonna use as the main front. But I wanna show you still some character of this tree in this part, and it's good to understand how these trees grow in nature and how they develop along the year. So probably this tree can be between 300 and 500 years old for the type of Deadwood. There is some very old Deadwood and some other wood a little bit younger. But the tree is strong, and now, after 3 years from collection, is ready to have its first time. So here we are in the middle of the work on the Deadwood. Some gin are already done. So basically I'm using this precision knife, especially for the part that were still alive, and my Rudiban for the part that are already dry and dead. So I used to clean the old bark, and then with the big splitter I break the wood and I create the taper on the gin. What I want to notice is I want to show you how thin is the cambium of the California juniper. So this is why it's also so difficult to scion graft on California. Most of the time it's better approach graft because you go a little bit deeper into the phloema and xylema. But with the scion graft that you have only to try to attach your little graft to the cambium is so thin that most of the time the little shoot just dry out and doesn't have the time to take, differently from San Jose or other juniper. For example, in Europe, Sabina juniper has a thicker cambium, so it's easier to graft on. But on California, like for us in Europe, with Phoenicia juniper, it's very difficult to graft on those live lines. So now the next step will be working on a big piece of deadwood that is in the side of the tree. So I'm gonna use electrical carving tools. Here I just wanted to do everything with hand tools, but that part that is just a flat cut, I need to drill in and then break it. So I just finished to take care of the big chopped part. As you see, I hollow the main part and then I break the outside to recreate a kind of a natural look. At this point, all the deadwood work is done. We took care of the problematic part and we did all the gin. Now I also clean the live line so we can appreciate this beautiful purple reddish color to contrast with the deadwood. Now the next step will be start wiring the branches. So I have this nice line coming from this branch here, so I'm gonna start shorting this branch because I want to use these nice runners to start creating the lower pad, and bending down this branch a little bit I can also create some of the depth using some of these guys. I have a nice branch here to create sun green in this middle section of the tree. I also have a back branch that I'm planning to bend inside of the gap between these two big lines, so I can really squish down as much as I can the two side branch, right and left, and this will give me more power on the entire canopy. And the plan is using these central whips coming from this central line here to start creating the structure of the top. So as I said, initially the plan is to have a tree very, very compact with a top just lower than the tangent here, and then a kind of a wider canopy tree for the lower part to really frame and made power on the base of this tree that is the main character of the entire composition. So I'm going to start protecting with some raffia, some of the branches that I'm planning to bend a little bit more, and then wire and setting the structure of the canopy. So here we are with the final product. I was able to squish the tree down and make it nice and open. So everything, all the green is pushing on top of this big trunk to create a sort of disproportion between the height of the tree and the size of the massive trunk to make the tree look bigger and focus the attention of the observer to the big live line and the nice deadwood that we have in this side of the front. All the foliage goes down and the branches take places to make something like a kind of an equal shape right and left to be very vertical with the top. And then I left some of this gin to really highlight the general view of the final design. Now what next? So the tree has to keep developing, so next spring the tree will start pushing. It's important after a first styling to let the tree push strong so the main structure will set. always taking care of removing the wire if it starts biting in, and then when the structure is set, we can go back and prune and go back to the original length of the different pad and start working on the volume of the singular pad. So California juniper grow very fast, especially if we fertilize a lot. And I'm pretty confident that in 2 or 3 years this tree can be already nice and full and very well developed. Another thing, probably in 1 year, if the development will start, will keep going well, we're gonna move this tree in a bonsai container, so we start reducing the size of the pot and start looking what we can find in terms of fine roots that are very important to develop the future bonsai. Thank you.